They will tell you I turned men into pigs. They will tell you I sang and wove and smiled with poisoned lips. What they never tell you is how quiet it was before they came. The island of Aia, my prison of cedar and stone. For 1,000 years, the only sound was the whisper of my loom and the compliant growls of beasts that once were men. And the silence would have killed a mortal soul 1,000 times. But I am no mortal. When his black ship split the horizon, I felt it in my bones, a disturbance in the fabric of my lonely sea. I watched from the cliffs, my hair a wild knot of bronze and honey. I saw them stumble ashore, hollow-eyed from the Cyclops, from the king of winds who had cursed them. They were already half broken. That is the thing about men. They arrive shattered and call it fate. I made my hall a welcome. Fresh bread, dark wine, the color of dried blood, cheese that glistened with promise. I sang the old songs, the ones that make the wolves in my courtyard weep. They came, dragging their weariness like a second skin, and they drank. Oh, how they drank. With every swallow, they gave themselves to me. I did not take them. They surrendered. A tap of my rod, and the truth of their souls bloomed outward. Squealing snouts, coarse bristles, eyes that forgot the shapes of their children. I herded them into the styes and threw them acorns. They rooted in the muck, content, less than men, more honest. That was my art. I loved them by revealing what they truly were. All but one, Eurylochus, coward and survivor. He ran back to the ships, his heart a frantic drum. I let him go. I knew he would return, dragging behind him the one man whose story had already woven itself into the threads of my loom. Odysseus. I remember the silence before his footsteps, a hush that was not silence but the held breath of the universe. And then he came, striding through my grove as if he owned the wind. Hermes had warned him, of course. The gods always meddle. He held a black-rooted flower, Molly, its white blossom, a defiant star against the gloom. I saw the charm in his hand, and I saw the man behind it. Not tall, not giant, built of sinew and sorrow, with eyes that had learned to watch the horizon for the next disaster. Eyes that had seen Troy burn. Eyes that, even then, were looking past me toward a distant, smoke-thin Ithaca. I offered him the cup. My fingers brushed his. There is a heat in a living man that the dead and the God-touched can never replicate. He drank, and the drug slid off his soul like water of oiled bronze. I raised my wand, and his sword rose faster, a viper's kiss against my throat. I fell to my knees. I had never knelt before a man. This is the part the poets always get wrong. They say I surrendered, that I offered him my bed to save my life. That is a lie men tell themselves to make the world feel safe. I am a goddess, daughter of Helios, the all-seeing sun. A blade cannot kill me. It can only transform me. When his steel touched my throat, I felt no fear. I felt a vast, tectonic recognition. Here was a creature as cunning as I was, a liar who spoke truth, a monster who wept, a king who was nothing but a beggar on a long road home. In his scarred hands, I saw a reflection of my own endless solitude. I did not yield out of fear. I yielded because, for the first time in eternity, I was not alone. We wove a year out of nothing, a secret, sun-drenched year, where night came soft and the wolves stopped their howling. I bathed him in oils scented with myrrh and cinnamon, and dressed him in tunics of woven gold. He told me of Achilles, of the wooden horse, of the screaming of Polyphemus in his cave. He spoke of Penelope, and his voice would break like a wave on a distant shore. I would kiss the salt from his lips and pretend I did not notice. He was the most eloquent man I ever met, and every word he spoke was a thread pulling him away from me. Men think of Circe the temptress, a siren in silk, but we were two exiles making a home in the ruins of our own power. He, fleeing the god of the sea, I, banished to this beautiful, suffocating island for a crime of passion long forgotten. In his arms, I learned what my herbs could never teach me, that love is not a spell to cast but a poison you drink willingly, knowing the antidote is farewell. 1 year, a heartbeat for a goddess, a lifetime for a man. I saw the light drain from his eyes as the memory of his wife and son calcified into obsession. I knew the day was coming. He lay beside me, his hand absent-mindedly tracing the old scar on his thigh, the one the boar gave him, and his spirit was already on a dark ship sailing home. I did not weep, I did not rage. I simply rose, brewed the dark wine, and told him the path. You must go to the house of the dead, I said. You must seek the blind prophet in that lightless place where the shades gibber and thirst. I gave him the directions, the offerings, the black sheep. I stood on the shore with the north wind screaming around my robes and watched him walk to his ship. My heart was a cold cinder in my chest. He turned, just once, his face a mask of what he thought I needed. Goddess, he said, I thank you for everything. I smiled a smile that could curdle milk. I did not want his gratitude. I wanted him to stay and wither into legend with me. Two timeless things growing old in a garden that never knew winter. But he was a man, and men are born to die. A shadow fell then. Elpenor, the youngest, the fool, drunk on my rooftop, stumbled and broke his neck. He died unmourned in that dawn haste. When Odysseus finally reached the underworld, it was that boy's shade, not the hero's, who met him first, begging for burial. Oh, the irony. The death they found on my island of transformation was the most human of all. A clumsy, accidental fall. No magic, no monster. Just the tragic comedy of a life barely begun, ended because a boy couldn't hold his wine. They sailed into the mist, the sound of the oars fading. I returned to my loom. The thread was crimson. I wove the image of a man sailing away, his back forever turned. I hung it in my hall, so every beast and every broken sailor who washed ashore would see it. The only man I ever loved, and the only one who couldn't stay. Some nights, when the moon is a thin claw, I still hear the squeal of the pigs and think it's laughter. I think it's the laughter of a girl who thought she understood power before a shipwrecked king taught her that the deepest magic isn't turning a man into a beast. It's turning him back into himself, knowing he will use that wholeness to leave you forever. I am Circe. I change things, and I have never been able to change the fact that I loved a man whose destiny was never me. But the silence has never been the same. It now carries the echo of his voice, and that is both my comfort and my curse.
Don't just watch, join, like, subscribe, bell, comment. I'm a myth keeper. Epic Mythos Unveiled thanks every keeper who stays. This is Epic Mythos Unveiled. Thanks for watching.